Final Fantasy VII is one of my all-time favourite games, and Rebirth just shoots this game into the stratosphere. Amazing combat, amazing minigames, everything else. The game is probably one of the hardest platinums I have ever gotten, but you guys are about to find out. I platinumed this game 300 times, and here's how. And like any good story, we don't start at the end, we start at the beginning. And what a beginning this game has. They lull you into a false sense of security with how many trophies you pop so fast at the start of this game, it'll make your head spin. Trophies come thick and fast at the start of this game. I think we get about 5 before we even come out of the starting area.
That one felt pretty good.
Exploitative practices. Exploiting enemy's weakness. Nice. Oh, and did I happen to mention that this whole thing is a flashback, and it's the Nibelheim incident with Sephiroth? So we get to actually fight beside my boy Sephiroth, and this fight is amazing. Against the Materia Keeper, we get another trophy. This time for rescuing Cloud, because he can't stay out of Materia Keeper's hands. There we go. Free of Vendala. And then one of the coolest new additions to this game is the synergy abilities, which I also get a trophy for. And this looks absolutely amazing the first time you see it. Actually, even now it still looks amazing.
Whoa, that was insane.
Oh my god! And then after a minute or so, the Materia Keeper is dead, and we start making our way towards the reactor, where a lot of story stuff goes down. So hopefully you guys aren't caring about spoilers while you're watching this. Don't know why you would be, but just in case. So after we reach the reactor, Sephiroth discovers something about himself and goes a little bit pyromaniac on the village. And after this whole flashback sequence is done, we go back to our main team and we continue on with their story. And we also get our first trophy for completing the very first chapter. Never meet your heroes. Yep. Unless it's Sephiroth, because he is cool as hell. So now we're in Cam, which is actually one of the coolest places, and we're going to be introduced to one of the best additions to Final Fantasy VII that they have done in this entire game. That's right, the piano game. I'm just kidding, I'm just kidding. Queen's Blood. This minigame looks very simple on the surface, but it actually has a lot of layers that make it very complex later on. And you actually get a trophy for this later, so keep an eye on this, and if you're doing this yourself, make sure to get a good deck. So after a lot of tutorializing and escaping Cam, and getting released into the open world here, we can start to explore and experience all this game has to offer. But first, before we go anywhere, we're going to meet an old friend that we all know and love from Remake, and I will show you who that is right now. I hope you guys like Chadley's voice, because you're going to hear it a lot throughout this whole game. Every 5 seconds in this game, you'll hear Cloud! 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 But Chadley is a big part of this game, and he has a lot of things for you to do, which is where the open worldness of this game comes from. There's a lot of things to explore in this game. Every area you get to, there's going to be new things to explore, and each one will sort of net you a trophy, but we'll get more into that later. So now we've got the go-ahead from Chadley. We're going to start doing all of the world intel, basically everything in an area, and then we're going to move on to each section. So as we go through the game, each section will unlock more world intel, which will in turn give us more trophies. And yeah, every time we go to a new area, there's going to be new things like this, where we have to scan environments, catch chocobos, fight enemies, and then once we're done, we'll unlock the trophy, just like you saw for doing all the world intel in one specific area. And we're going to do that for all the areas throughout the game, and then move on to the story. And speaking of moving on to the story, we get our first big boss fight in the form of the Midgar's armor. So this boss is no joke on your first playthrough. When you're still learning the mechanics and how to fight, this thing will F you up if you aren't careful. But you'll probably be too distracted with how amazing this boss fight is and how sick the music is that you'll just be in awe the entire time like I was. Get it, quick! Woo! And then after all that craziness, we get dragged down into the swamp by the Midgar's armor. Somehow, even though everybody else is just standing in it, like it's waist high, Very, very strange. I don't know if you guys ever seen this, but yeah, it's very strange. And Sephiroth saves us. Don't know why he does this either, because he could just kill us here, but, you know, plot convenience and all that. But after this, we get our next trophy, which is for completing this chapter. But you don't actually see it, because I accidentally didn't record it. Also, is anybody else just amazed by playing this and these two things are the same thing? Bling! That's the sound the trophy would make if it popped here, which it didn't because I didn't record it. But now we're in the Mithril Mines, which actually has a couple really cool bosses in it. Not many trophies, but we will get one at the end because each of these chapters is very quick when you're playing it through on different difficulties. But when you're playing it through for the first time, you want to explore everything like I did. And I took my time exploring every single part of this game. And after we've explored every inch of the beautiful Mithril Mines, we come across Elena and Rude just chatting away, and we get another amazing boss fight. This game is full of amazing boss fights, by the way. Shit! And even though we win the fight, you know what video games are like. We lose and we go tumbling down into the depths of the mine. And we actually get put as Barret and Red, so we actually get to learn how they work and work as a team. So we will need to fight a boss with them, and it's another really cool boss. Mine isn't a good idea. So this boss right here, the Mithril Golem, this is how I got so good at parrying in this game. Because if you do not parry against the Mithril Golem, he is going to mess you up. But if you know what you're doing against him, he's pretty easy to take down. He's just a very cool looking boss, and a very good addition to this game, as he wasn't in the original from what I remember. Every new addition to this game, however, is amazing. Every boss is just fits in so perfectly with this game, and the music and the moves they use, and the fact you can parry and keep yourself safe is just icing on the cake on this game. One of the best new mechanics they added in this game, in my opinion, because when you get really good at it, the game becomes very easy. That doesn't happen to me until later on, though. I don't become really good at this game until much later on. And with the Mithril Golem gone, now's our time to escape the mines and get to one of my favourite areas in the entire game that makes me so nostalgic. I actually almost cried when I got to this area. Ah, it's blinding. Why is there like 30 of them standing outside?
Hey, check it out.
Complete chapter 3. Oh, we're at Junon!
Just them?
I don't know why it took me so long to realise we were in Junon, but this is where I realised that we're going to have a lot to do in this game, as I see all these towers right here that are going to spawn loads of minigames, loads of chocobo things, loads of Moogle houses, loads of scan points, everything. And I just see how big this map is. It's insane. Everything in this game is just ginormous, and I can't imagine what they're going to do in part 3. Before we go anywhere, can we but before we go to one of my favourite places, which is Junon, we're going to have to do all the world intel before we move on, because I need to make sure I get all this done, as I'm trying to do as much as possible in this platinum run. Before I go anywhere and do any of the side quests, however, I'm going to get my first summon materia, which is Titan. And we will be coming back to beat his ass for another trophy later on. You work for me now. Defeat a summon in battle and obtain its materia. Another new addition to this game is the things called proto-relics, which are actually a very long side quest, but have some very cool moments in them. For example, this part, where you actually get sucked into the game of Fort Condor, like Jumanji. And it's actually one of the coolest looking things in this game, and I was so surprised when I first saw it. Oh my god, that's amazing!
What in the hell is going on?
And why do we look like this?
Little did I know this game was actually going to turn out to be one of my most hated minigames in this entire platinum run. And it still kind of is. When you do this on hard mode, because there's hard mode versions of most of the minigames in this game, this becomes brutal. But then once we've repeated what we've done before, done all of the intel in this entire area of Junon, and we have finished off all the Fort Condor games. This isn't hard mode, just normal mode. Once we've finished off that, we get our very first proto-relic, which is one of many, but leads to a very cool showdown later on at the end of the game. Hard mode is now available for Fort Condor. I can barely do normal mode. And with all the intel collected and getting this proto-relic piece, we will get another trophy for this area, which is for getting the proto-relic in the region. Obtain a proto-relic in the Junon region. Show me Gilgamesh. Show me Gilgamesh. And we also get to meet one of the wackiest characters ever in Final Fantasy.
is possessed of a power beyond your ken. You will deliver it unto me.
It looks like it's part of his arm, like his wrist guards and that.
No.
Very well. Then I shall take it from you by force. You are indeed a worthy warrior. I saw it plain, and never does my judgment err. So it comes to this.
I have to fight him? What? Okay. How many of these have I got to collect? 2 or 3 or something? I'm guessing 3, maybe 4. And even though I didn't like this minigame by the end, I still stuck around and did hard mode before even venturing into Junon and continuing with the story. Come on! Yes! Oh my god, that thing was a fucking nightmare. And we venture into a new town, which is under Junon, and you know what that means? New quests, new Queen's Blood players, and we wreck all of them. And just as we finish everything in the town, we get to meet up with everybody's favourite ninja, Yuffie. No idea what she's doing in a boat because she hates travel, but for some reason she's here. And this leads to another amazing boss fight. Oh, this thing's so cool looking. Woo!
Oh no, you don't.
That was easier than I expected. Is Cloud gonna ride on the dolphin? No way. And with another boss defeated, more minigames open up throughout this entire region, so I make sure to complete all those before starting in Junon. Right, also, I get introduced to one of my favourite minigames in this entire game. I don't know why so many people have so much issue with this minigame. It's basically Fall Guys, but you're frogs, and it's hilarious. Woo! And once everything's done yet again, we get to do another little minigame with Mr. Dolphin. And I'm so happy they took away the electrical jump part from the original FF7. This makes it much cooler. And Cloud even does a little pose at the end. Amazing.
Nice going, man.
You guys are going to hear me gush over this area. Wow. I absolutely love Junon. And my favourite minigame in the entire game is here, which I've been looking forward to since they announced this game. You can just tell they put so much love and care into each and every area in Rebirth. It's such an amazing game. Like every time I come back to this area after replaying it again, it blows my mind how good they made everything. Like them putting on the uniforms, the practice for the parade, and those new people that were introduced there. The Easter egg music that you can find in the bar. You can even find Elena here. The fact you have to recruit your entire squad so you can get all this done is absolutely amazing. And then once we're done recruiting everybody, we get a nice little trophy to commemorate this. I didn't actually know this was going to be a trophy. I just wanted to collect all the people because it was just so much fun to do it. That's the best thing about this game. Everything you do in it is just so much fun. The end game stuff, maybe a little bit, not so much. But all the things throughout the game are just so much fun to do. And I didn't even know there was going to be a trophy for the parade getting the best score. But from my achievement and trophy hunting career, there's always going to be something for a trial like that. So we get into the parade and we just smash the hell out of it. Oh.
For the final time, the judges are tallying the votes.
Wow.
Which team will take home the commendation? Stay tuned to find out.
Surely it's me, right? After that. Mine?
The prize for outstanding performance goes to
Holding my breath.
Midgar's 7th Infantry.
Stealing the show.
The
After this happy little moment, things do go a little bit to hell in Junon though. Yuffie attacks the president, which causes the deal that he was about to strike up with us to be null and void. We have to run out of Junon with our little team who still believe we are on their side, and we encounter Roche again, and basically another awesome boss fight, and then we get to escape, and we're on to the next chapter. And we get a nice wee trophy for our troubles. I can't believe it just finished chapter 4, Jesus. Blood in the water. And this chapter here is just a nice little chill chapter. We're doing Queen's Blood. It's a tournament on a boat, and you can actually just forfeit this if you don't really want to do Queen's Blood during the story. If you're not really a fan of it, you will have to do it to platinum it, but I love this game, so I was happy to do this, and there's some really funny moments in this. Like, for example, our mysterious challenger. Who could it be? Because only humans are able to compete. No way. And of course, we're a master at Queen's Blood, so we don't take long to dismantle Red. But this was such a fun little addition. I'm glad I got all these. And I didn't even know there was going to be a trophy here, but I'm glad I got it, because I would have had to do all this over again. But that's the best thing about going through a game like this blind. You just experience the game and you don't have to focus on the trophies. Because I love Final Fantasy, so I was just happy every single second I played this game. Especially just seeing things like this. Just small things that make the game hilarious, like Red here.
Expect to see you.
I couldn't bear to pass up the chance.
He's so
Well,
funny.
lucky for us that you
The
did.
way he's walking.
You were amazing.
But another happy moment interrupted because the boat actually gets invaded at nighttime by all these weird creatures that seem to merge with the Sephiroth clones, which is kind of cool. I wasn't expecting this whatsoever, but this culminates in a fight with Genova, and it's one of the best fights ever. The music and everything is so good. God, I've gotten so good at the combat in this game. After all that, he's just like, yeah, we're just chilling in Costa del Sol, you know? Complete chapter 5. Ah, Costa del Sol! And just as I say it there, we come to the most beautiful and the most nostalgic place in the entire game for me. Costa del Sol. They have made this area amazing. There's so many games. The area looks beautiful. Like, just everything about this area is so big, it's so lush, it's amazing. And I'll leave this part in here just so you guys can see my initial impression of Costa del Sol. I was so happy to see this. It's so cool to see it in such a lush 3D environment. Oh yeah, Yuffie gets travel sickness.
Thank you.
So once we arrive, we're tasked to find a hotel, but in the meantime we're going to have a little fun on some wheelies and explore Costa del Sol. And then once we actually go to start the main mission, we are greeted with a very familiar face that you guys should recognize if you played Remake. That's right, our boy Johnny's back, and he's actually a much bigger part of this game than he was in Remake. You're going to see him a lot. But before we get into that, he gives us a hotel. It's not the best looking hotel, but it's somewhere to stay. And then we start exploring Costa del Sol, doing some mini games, and eventually getting our beach gear so we can get onto the beach.
Loud? Something wrong?
No, nothing.
Just let me sit down for a minute.
It's just hot. In the sun. Speaking of which, you guys should probably put on sunscreen.
My relationship with Tifa is deepened, has it? And then another happy moment ruined by the one and only Hojo, who I was not expecting to be on the beach in this version. He is in the original, but I completely forgot about him even being here. And he causes a bit of a ruckus, but we whip his ass and we save the day as usual. And then we're back to Johnny's Seaside Inn. But I think I've forgotten someone.
Hello? Aren't you all forgetting about someone? And action!
I love how she's always wearing that.
Cool.
Chloe's just like, cool.
Hey, hold it, you spiky-haired jerkface!
You can come with.
I knew you'd say that.
Ah,
Well, seeing as you're so desperate, I guess I'll oblige you.
that's chapter
Welcome to
6.
the team, Yuffie.
Those left behind. And with that, we're actually halfway through the game because there's only 14 chapters in this game. And since we've just done this area, and it opens up to so much more, we have millions of minigames to do. As I don't want to move on to another area until I've done everything. So we're going to get on that right now. Oh, no. You know how I said earlier we'd be coming back to kick Titan's ass again? Yep, this is where I get the 300% damage trophy. I actually purposely went for this trophy because I knew it was one of the ones here. And there is a lot easier ways to do it, but I just decided I'm going to try it my own way and see if I can get it. So I just kept doing Unbridled Strength, Omni Strike, True Strike, etc. with Tifa. Yes! Just managed to get 300 before he came out at the stagger. Oh my god, that was so close. Deal 300% or more damage to a staggered enemy. Why is it showing red? Does red actually have an ability that makes this way easier? And we come to another one of my absolutely favourite minigames in this entire game, and it's the setup minigame, because I was a master at the remake pull-ups. I've actually done it for people on my Patreon, the remake pull-ups and this minigame, because as you see here, I'm not that good at it here, but I'm actually a master at it now. And even though you see the reactions of me not liking this, I'm still enjoying it. It's just the half trigger pull one that kept throwing me off, because the adaptive triggers I'm not used to on the PlayStation. But once I get that down, I do this so easily. I actually hate them. I'm doing what it tells me to do. Hold the button halfway down and then press it. I do appreciate the jiggle physics.
You're crushing it.
Don't you ever get sore? It's almost like your muscles are singing.
Yeah, keep it up.
Incredible form.
You're crushing it.
Just like that. Where'd that come from?
Breakboard.
Oh my god. Oh my god, I did it. Oh.
Just getting those games.
Oh my god. That was way harder than the pull-ups. Jesus Christ. Tifa. Oh. You don't get a trophy like in Remake, but you need this for Johnny's treasure trove later on. So, it needs to be done. Then as we continue on, we learn that the weapons are starting to stir inside the planet. I was a bit taken aback by this weapon here, because I was like, they better not make the weapons just these things. But clearly these are just infant weapons, and we're going to get Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, Ultimate Weapon, etc. later on in part 3. And it's going to be amazing, and I can't wait, it's going to be so good. But seeing this for the first time, I was so shocked, and yeah, it's just... Basically, this part is just storytelling, and we just get past this area, and we get on to a couple more boss fights, and then we actually get into Corel. And you know the drill, in a new area we have new things to do, new quests, new Queen's Blood missions, new Moogle houses, everything. We're going to do all of that before we move on to any part of the story. Thankfully, there wasn't too much minigames in Corel. The game kind of locks you into this area for a little bit before you go to the Gold Saucer. So there's minimal minigames, but just some Queen's Blood and some other random bits you need to do. But with that, we obviously learn about Barrett's past, which we know from playing the game originally. If you don't, then... spoilers, but Barrett is essentially the reason Corel looks like it is, because he convinced the entire town that Shinra was good and the reactor should be there. And as you saw previously, that weapon that jumped out, that was actually the destroyed Corel reactor. So he feels very guilty about all this. But we have to repress all those emotions just now, because as Yuffie says...
We're about to rock up to the funnest place ever, the Gold Saucer.
Huh?
So turn those frowns upside down.
Price of progress. Complete chapter 7. We're getting there. Chapter 8. I think there's like 14 chapters in this, so we still got like 6 chapters to go. Ah!
Look! 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 Something's coming.
What, Ifrit and Shiva? What the fuck?
Hello to you too.
This is incredible.
That's amazing. Oh, the chocobos as well. And like I said before previously, Junon was one of the areas I was most excited for. Golden Saucer was also another one of the most exciting areas for me. After I heard the music in Remake, I was like, I can't wait to see this place. And it did not disappoint. The initial starting part right here just blows my mind every single time I watch it. I never skip this cutscene because it's just so good. We get introduced to Dio, we see Kate Sith. Cloud gets involved in another minigame, which is going to be another minigame we need to do for some trophies to complete the game. And it's the battle minigame where you actually fight with your little 3D avatar. And it's actually really difficult in this game. It was harder in the original because it was basically rock, paper, scissors against a computer, which is never good. But it's still very hard in this game. But we beat Dio and then we get access to the Gold Saucer. And we have to go to the Haunted Mansion, which is another place I was very excited to see. And they did not disappoint one bit. And as we approach the hotel, we actually get to meet one of my favourite characters in this entire game. Pretty much because he's Scottish, and you gotta love some Scottish representation in these games. Kate Sith! And he actually pronounces his name, so we know how to say it now.
A man with a rain cloud over his head. So how about a reading to clear those somber skies? Whether it be dark or bright, I'll read your future right. Just didn't go shooting the messenger, eh?
This some kind of toy?
You two lads, eyes up here.
Please tell me he pronounces his name.
Kate Sith, fortune teller.
Kate Sith! Fucking knew it.
It's a toy, alright. Lifelike though.
And unfortunately the hotel is fully booked, but our new friend here, Kate Sith, does a wee bit of hacking and actually cancels Palmer's room, which is the most hilarious thing ever.
And what's it to you?
We lost the rooms.
What?
More toys.
Oh my god, this game's so good. So Cloud's exhausted after all the battles and travel that they've been doing up to this point. So he goes into the room and lays his head down on the bed. And we actually wake up in another world. Forgot to mention this to you guys at the start of the video. Zach's actually here. So if you guys have played Remake, he's actually alive at the end of that game, which is not what's supposed to happen. So in this other world, this other timeline, as people are calling it, he's alive. Aerith is here. He's with Aerith. And Aerith's white materia still has power, whereas I forgot to mention our Aerith has lost her power of her white materia. And Cloud is here, you're seeing through his perspective as he's Mako poisoned, as Zack saved them essentially. We get to see glimpses into this world and kind of what's going on with Zack, but this is just like a separate side story which kind of comes into the game later on. So Zack is alive, that's all you need to know really. And we wake up and hear a knock at the door, and we get to see our date for this evening, which is, drum roll please, Aerith. So we get to have a little bit of fun with Aerith in the Gold Saucer, and we get to travel around a little bit. While we're on our nice little date, Barrett notices something a little bit wrong in the Gold Saucer, so he goes to investigate. This other man that seems to have a gun for an arm. We obviously know who that is, but it's very cool to see it portrayed in this way. And as part of our date, we actually get to see some of the minigames we'll be doing harder versions of later. So the G-Bike, we've got the 3D Brawler, and we have some more Queen's Blood challenges where it's actually like puzzle type challenges. And the minigames never end, so we have the Star Fox style minigame where you fly around and shoot. This is also required for the Platinum. Basically every single one of these is required for the Platinum, and then we have battles in the Musclehead Coliseum, which is actually really fun. A lot better than just doing the VR missions because there's actually things you can look at in the Musclehead Coliseum instead of just blue. But a lot of battles here which you can do or you can leave till later on. But I decided to just blast through as many as I could and then come back later for the ones that I can do with other party members. And then once we thoroughly impressed Aerith with her gaming skills and her fighting skills, Kate Sith comes along to tell us something bad's happened, but in the most hilarious way possible.
On the double. Because between you and me, there's been a wee shooting in the lobby over there. And the word around the saucer is that a man with a gun for an arm was the perpetrator.
And as it turns out, the shooting in the lobby wasn't so wee, as there's bodies everywhere, and Dio tasks us with finding who did this. And we know it's obviously not Barrett, but we need to go down to the basement, essentially, of the Gold Saucer, which is the Dust Bowl, and things go down there which aren't too great for our party members.
Hey! Welcome to Corel Prison, bitch. Top of the morning to ya. Well, now, wouldn't try that if I was you.
Am I the only one who finds this part a little bit weird every time I play through this part of the game? Like, Cloud and his party could easily kill everyone here. They have powerful magics, they have summons, they have gigantic weapons. They could kill everyone in this place within like 3 seconds, but they choose not to. I guess, in my opinion, they're probably just playing along, but, you know, they don't want to kill them all. And we get introduced to another character that they've beefed up and made much more of a part of this game, Gus. He was in the original, but he was literally like a 2-second role in the game. What he wants to do is for us to win a chocobo race, but since we're in a new area, we're going to have to do all this stuff first before we move on. And we've got a lot of mini-games. We've got a new box mini-game, kind of like the original. We have some more Queen's Blood, and we have more Coliseum matches, but in the underground part this time. And once we've done all that, we get to start the chocobo races, which we win easily, of course, because we're amazing at this game. And then we get to continue on what we were supposed to be doing down in the Dust Bowl, which was finding Barrett. And when we do, we find Barrett's friend also, who has gone a little bit cuckoo after he lost everything because of Barrett. And we actually have to do a boss fight, which is actually one of the hardest boss fights for me. I struggled really hard on hard mode with this, because Barrett moves like a tank when he rolls, and I wasn't used to playing him at all. But we get there in the end, and we beat Dine, and I'm so glad I wasn't recording myself during these parts, because I bawled my eyes out.
Barrett! Cloud, look!
But we've got no time to rest or even mourn Dine's death here, so tears in my eyes, I continued on, and we get into another crazy boss fight with Palmer.
You worthless hunk of dung!
Junction override confirmed. Initiating a urine optimization protocol. Oh dear! Oh dear me! Now you're in for it!
And as we grab Barrett and try to escape, we actually have the savior Dio come in and give us the buggy so we can escape. And after a short chase sequence and sort of a mini boss fight, we finally escape and end this chapter. And yes, the gold saucer definitely was worth the wait. With that chapter complete, we now have access to the buggy and the extended area of the map, which allows us to explore more, do more side quests, do more mini-games. This is also where we're introduced to the next part of the Proto-Relic quest, and we have to use Yuffie and Aerith to fight these cactuars off. You don't actually get to do the full quest here, because it locks you out of it until later on. But we do what we can, and then we come back after doing all that. But for now we move on to Gongaga, which is one of the areas in the game that has some of the best music ever. And we also see a familiar face, which a lot of people might not recognise, but I was actually very shocked seeing this person in this game. And that is this character right here, Sisney. She used to be a Turk, for those of you who don't know, and she tries to hide this fact while dealing with Cloud, Aerith and the gang, but she doesn't do it very well, and she's actually kind of part of the Proto-Relic quest within Gongaga. You guys know the drill, new area, new minigames, all that sort of stuff, so we blast through them and then we start continuing with the story, because at this point I was getting a little bit drained on the minigames. Not too much, but just the fact that every time there was a new area there'd be like a million quests I had to do, and I was very intrigued with the story at this point, and I just wanted to see where the story was going. So once we've done all that, we actually see an old enemy reoccur from Remake, which we actually thought was gone, and that would be the Whispers. So we follow them to the Gongaga reactor, and a big fight ensues with Cloud, and he gets a little bit crazy here. I was actually the most stunned I've been during the whole playthrough here, because Cloud essentially turns into Sephiroth and goes on a rampage here, and then Tifa even gets knocked into the life stream, and I was like, what is going on in this game? It's such an amazing little twist. It's the smallest thing, but they've just made this game so good by doing it. I even thought for a split second Tifa might actually be dead here after being eaten by the weapon, but it's such a cool little thing that they can give you a glimpse into the life stream at this point through Tifa's eyes and seeing kind of how it is going at the moment with the fight against Sephiroth. Which I've got to admit doesn't actually look like it's going very well in the weapon's favour. And then we get one of the most exciting parts of the game where Cloud and Tifa almost kiss, but Kate Sith and Yuffie ruin it by chatting through the door. Why would you do this to me, Kate Sith, your fellow Scottish brother?
Aw, worried about little old me?
And once I've done everything possible in the Gongaga area, I call down Sid, who is a little bit different than he was in the original. I was very shocked by this. He's very pleasant of a character in this. I feel like we're probably going to get some crazy backstory to Sid in the next game, but he takes us to Cosmo Canyon, which is the next chapter, and we get to experience all the crazy stuff that comes with that. And you guys guessed it, another area, another bunch of minigames, and a whole new open world area to explore. Like I said in the previous part when I got to Gongaga, it was draining on me a little bit. I actually ignored most of Cosmo Canyon and came back to it later. I wanted to get to Nibelheim and experience the story of Cosmo Canyon. So I skipped a lot of this part here, but I did actually come back and do it before finishing off the game. Another part I was pretty shocked with was this part right here. I'm sure a lot of people probably had the same reaction as me. I was like, what the hell is going on here?
Hey, guys! It's me! I'm back! Nanaki? I can't believe it. It really is you. We were so worried. Welcome home.
Whoa.
Now, why don't you go pay your respects to fellow Bugenhagen? Come on. You can let them through. They're good people. I promise. After all, they're the reason I'm here.
What in the hell was that?
Yep, everyone probably had the same reaction as Barrett. So Red's actually younger than he sounded before, but we get into this whole Cosmo Canyon area and we figure out what happened to Red's dad, which is quite a sad story. And then we also see an extra bit about the Gi, which is a new area because this wasn't in the original, and it's actually really nice to see kind of how the black materia was made and some backstory to the Gi. And we realize that Sephiroth is also after this black materia, so we need to get on the quest quicker and get this black materia. So like I said, I ignore a lot of the side quests here, but we will come back to these later and get everything done because we need them for the trophies. But for now we're heading to Nibelheim, which is another one of my favourite areas in this game. And the whole point in coming to Nibelheim is so Kate Sith can actually access the terminal that tells us where something is. So we actually get to play as Kate Sith here. The game forces you to become him for a bit. And it's actually really fun because it's a good learning experience and you need to actually fight a boss with just him solo, which is also very fun, but very difficult on hard mode. But once we've done all that and we've reunited with Barrett and Aerith, we actually have to unlock the safe, which funnily enough is the same combination from the original, so if you know that, you can open this without even doing the puzzle. This is the exact same boss fight from the original, and it's one of the best boss fights in the game. It's very difficult if you don't know what you're doing, but assess as your friend in these sort of situations.
How wasn't he built?
And once we beat that boss, it's time for another boss. This is a whole boss gauntlet, this chapter. And it's one of the best bosses in the entire game. We actually get to meet and fight Vincent, because he's a bit angry that we've accessed an area that we shouldn't access at all. But this is such a cool fight. Even on hard mode, I love this fight. Just fighting the Galleon Beast is so cool, and the fact that you're going to be able to play as Vincent in Part 3, this is just kind of a little taster of what his limit break's going to be like, I guess. But it's very interesting to kind of think what he's going to play like. So he transforms and one of the coolest boss fights in the entire game begins. He runs around like crazy, he's attacking like all your team members all the time, like you barely get any room to breathe in this fight. But if you use your parries and counters and things like that, you can easily beat him, especially when you assess him and find out his weakness, because everybody in this game has some sort of unique weakness and it's really cool to exploit. And like I said, this chapter is just boss fight galore. We need to fight Roche again, and he's been buffed up with Genova cells. So this fight is a lot more difficult than previous fights we've had with him. And as you can see, his hair is a little bit white, which was actually a very cool touch, because you can tell he's kind of turning into kind of a Sephiroth clone at this point, as the degradation's affecting him quite quickly during this fight, and he basically turns into a Sephiroth clone by the end, which is a shame, because I actually enjoyed Roche as a character during Rebirth. Didn't really like him that much in Remake, because he wasn't in it very long and he just seemed obnoxious, but for this he was a very cool character, and it was nice to have a little rival that wasn't Sephiroth. And one of the coolest touches here is we're about to fly away to search for the Keystone, and Vincent turns up. Sadly, we don't get Vincent or Sid during our playthrough, but kind of like Red and Remake, it's a little taster for what they're going to be like in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3, which is very cool, but I'm glad he's in the team anyway, even though we can't use him. And with this, we fly towards the Golden Saucer to get the Keystone, but our plane crashes, and we start the next chapter. And here we get to experience what the tiny Bronco's like in water, as you actually do this in the original game, but it's so much cooler in this, where you can actually just drive around wherever you want. You can drive on all the sea, and this is kind of how we get to the last part of the game. But here, we need to go back to the Golden Saucer, and we need to get the Keystone. And in order to do this, we need to defend the Gold Saucer from Corneo, because he's trying to change the name. But before we do this, we have our second part of the date with Aerith, and we have to play through the play, funnily enough. And this was actually one of the most boring parts of the original game for me. I would just skip the dialogue and didn't care about the Dragon King and all that sort of stuff. But they have made this play so good. This is one of my favourite parts of the game that they added and changed, because it's just so cinematic, so crazy. It reminds me of Advent Children with some of the moves that Cloud does, and it's just amazing. I wish I could show you guys my actual reaction, but I wasn't recording myself live at this point. I was just playing the game with my fiance and just enjoying the experience. I do actually stream the hard mode part, but that's when you'll see the reaction to certain things. And then at the end of the play, we actually get a trophy for getting an S rank during the Loveless play, which is not actually that hard to do, but it's very fun. And then we move on to the fights with Corneo, which are actually really fun little bouts, because it's just fighting, and the fighting in this game is so good. And once we've gone through Corneo and the Turks, we actually find out that Cait Sith is a traitor. Dun dun dun! Who would have expected this? I do actually like how they explain it in this remake, though. It makes a lot more sense and makes Cait Sith more of a relatable character. We do also need to fight the Turks, which is an amazing battle, and then Cloud needs to go up against President Shinra himself. And that's not the most fun fight in hard mode, but it's a very cool fight nonetheless. After we've done this, we need to also chase Cait Sith, because he's got the Keystone and we need that to get to the Temple of the Ancients. But he manages to get it to the Turks, and then we can't actually use Cait Sith now, as the party doesn't trust him anymore. And look how sad this is. I was so sad here, even though I know he's a good guy deep down. So with Vincent being a former Turk, he actually knows how to track the Turks' signals. So he's going to use the radio inside Sid's vehicle to actually do this for us. At this point as well, we're basically in the end game, because we just finished chapter 12. There is only 14 chapters, so this one is for going towards the Temple of the Ancients, which is actually an amazing area. And like I said previously, at this point I was a little bit burnt out on all the side quests. I was like, I'll do them last, because I just really want to experience what the story is. The story was getting really good, and I didn't want to put it all aside to do like 10 more hours worth of side content. So at this point I actually just head straight for the Temple of the Ancients. And the way they introduced the Temple of the Ancients in this remake is so good. It's not just a random temple in the middle of nowhere that anybody could probably go to. It's an actual temple that rises from just nothing, and it looks and sounds amazing when you get in there.
Okay, just give me a moment, sir.
Way to go with down.
Can't believe we're doing this.
So the Temple of the Ancients is just one giant puzzle full of enemies and Shinra troops, and one of the best boss fights in this game, apart from when you play it on hard mode, the Red Dragon. It's so cool to fight. It's got such a unique mechanic to stagger it. But then once it gets to the phase 2, in hard mode, this actually becomes kind of BS. But this fight is very good on normal mode, and the mechanics and everything are great. We also get to see one of the coolest combinations of Cloud and Tifa teaming up in this boss fight, and it's amazing to see, because I just love Cloud and Tifa fighting together.
That's not happening.
Cloud! Nice! Oh, that old trick?
Come on.
And after Aerith does her best Yuna impression, the team gets separated again for the umpteenth time. And we have Cloud, Barret and Tifa together, and we have Yuffie, Aerith and Red together. We also help the Turks out of a jam as they're being targeted by a bunch of monsters. And then we get into a pretty cool boss fight with them again, and it goes as well as you would think for them.
Nice save.
And then the same thing with Song and Elena.
With me.
Okay.
And even after their Dragon Ball stances, they still get whooped, and we fall on top of them because we're literally right above them fighting Rude and Reno. And Cloud goes a little bit psycho again here, trying to kill Elena. We don't kill our enemies in Final Fantasy, we just beat them up a bunch of times. We don't need to kill them. But Cloud's literally on the edge here. He's on the verge of being completely mind-controlled by Sephiroth, and it's actually kind of scary seeing him like this, because he just talks like Sephiroth and he tries to kill everybody he comes in contact with. But thankfully, our girl Tifa comes and saves him, because she's always here for him.
Stop. Please.
There's no time for this, like you said. One of them's still ahead of us.
Right. No time.
Then each character needs to actually go through a trial before we can get to the next area, and these trials actually broke me emotionally. Like I said before, I'm glad I'm not recording my face here because I would be in tears. And yeah, this area is just so good at bringing your emotions to the forefront, because these characters, you've grown attached to each one of them, especially people like Aerith and Barret and things like that. You just feel so much emotion for these characters. Then after the game has destroyed us emotionally, we actually come to another cool addition to this remake. We actually get to see from the Cetra's point of view how things happened, and we get more backstory of the Cetra and Jenova coming crashing down from the sky. It's great getting more backstory about Jenova and the Cetra, because you didn't really get a lot of it during the original game, and these were some of my most fun parts, just wandering through these areas and getting told, here's what happened, like the Gi and everything like that as well. The Gi were the ones who created the black materia, which you never got an explanation for in the first game. It was just like, here's the black materia, it causes a meteor. But yeah, in this game you get so much more explanation, and it's great. I can't wait to see what they bring into the game in part 3. But after all that exposition, we get to actually fight one of the most iconic enemies in FF7, the Demon Gate. This thing is a tank. It does so much damage, and it's very claustrophobic in this fight as it closes the walls in on you while you're fighting, which is one of the best game mechanics I've seen in this entire game. And yeah, it's creepy as hell. It looks like a xenomorph coming out of a wall. Also, the music that comes along with this fight, just listen to this.
Not two of them. You got this.
Here goes. I'll take care of them.
Still alive. No homecoming for us today.
And with Demon Gate defeated, we open up the way to the Black Materia. And when I was playing this for the first time, I was like, is no one going to follow Cloud and stop him from grabbing the Black Materia? Because he's clearly out of his mind at this point. But the team's like, nah, it's fine. Just let him walk right towards the Black Materia, and we have no idea what's going to happen if he grabs it. Yeah, just normal teammate stuff, you know? And then, as expected, Cloud grabs the Black Materia, which causes the temple to react very badly to this, and tries to kill everybody inside. But thankfully, Kate Sith to the rescue as he runs in and holds up the podium so that we can actually have a little bit more time to escape. This was actually really emotional for me as well, even though I know what happens to Kate Sith. I know everything about this game. It's just so crazy to see this in like a 3D, fully realized environment as it is. I don't get what it is with this game. Like, Final Fantasy VII has always been my favorite game of all time, and just seeing it like this just fills me full of joy. I guess it was joyous tears, but also sad at the same time. And then as we're escaping, we get another amazing piece of music.
Shut up and run!
We escape the temple just in the nick of time, and Cloud is just staring at this materia, even though Aerith said it was a fake. I was a little bit confused here. I was like, is it a fake, or is Aerith just pretending it's a fake? And then this whole scene happens. Sephiroth appears and takes the Black Materia, but he wants Cloud to give it to him, as it's the key to the true Black Materia. The team try their best to keep the Black Materia away from Sephiroth and Cloud. Aerith actually grabs it and runs along these tendrils that Sephiroth has spawned, and Cloud looks insane here. They've done this part so well, and I was just so creeped out this entire time thinking Cloud's going to kill Aerith or something here. Aerith does actually give up the Orb of Materia here, as she's literally at the edge of these tendrils. So Cloud takes the Black Materia and gives it to Sephiroth. At this point he actually regains his consciousness and has to save Aerith, which he does, but then Sephiroth sends them plummeting into the abyss below. And then we're at the end of the game. Last chapter. So this next chapter is a little bit of a mind melter if you haven't been paying attention to like the separate worlds slash timelines slash whatever we want to call them. So the dogs, the stamp dogs, actually signify different worlds in this game. And when you're here, you're basically in the body of the other Cloud in a different dimension. And Aerith is trying to keep you safe from Sephiroth and herself safe from Sephiroth, and also give you the materia that you need for the other Aerith in the other world to stop Sephiroth. Also, I was so emotional in this scene here because I knew Aerith was just saying goodbye to Cloud because she knows she's going to die here. And she gives him the white materia and sends him on his way.
This isn't about me, though. It's about saving the world. And you. So thank you, Cloud, for everything.
What is this?
It's been fun.
And while Cloud is in the space between the worlds, Sephiroth actually explains his plan to him. That it's not just the reunion like it was in the original game, it's the reunion of worlds. So Sephiroth is going to basically kill all these worlds and bring them all together, so there's even more energy, and he can absorb that and basically become a god. I also love the fact that Sephiroth sees that Aerith has given Cloud the white materia, and he knows it doesn't belong here, as it's like a play by Aerith to defeat Sephiroth, because they both basically know what's going on.
Where am I? That doesn't belong here. Very poor form.
Once Cloud wakes up from all this as well, we're back with the party, and we're actually on the way to the Forgotten Capital. Which I actually thought was a bit quick on my first playthrough, but after playing through the whole game multiple times now, I realised what they were doing with the pace of the game. They don't really want you doing little bits in between getting to the Forgotten Capital, they just want you to get there and see the outcome of what's happening. When we actually got to the Forgotten Capital and this part came up, I had goosebumps literally everywhere on my body. The fact that they pull the rug out from under you during this scene as well, my heart actually stopped. I thought that Cloud had stopped Sephiroth during this point, and he could have in another world, because that's basically what this whole thing is about, but I was just shocked. Like literally, I could not even speak at this point. But then the inevitable happens, and the same thing from the original happens here. After I've played this a few times, I know what they're going for. The fact that you don't actually know what happens here, because Cloud is the unreliable narrator, and you're not sure if Sephiroth did actually stab him, if Cloud was just imagining that he deflected the blade. But I didn't actually feel much during this scene because it was a little bit confusing where I first played it. I've probably felt more playing it through again because of the music and things. But I know that because I felt more during the Barrett scene with him and Dyne and his wife, or the Aerith scene where she was a little girl and she was trying to help her mum, I cried so much during those scenes. I thought I was actually going to be crying my eyes out here, but I didn't. It was just a bit odd. But it's still an amazing game. And then once this whole part here is over, we actually get to fight one of the best boss gauntlets I've ever fought in my entire life. It is a bit of a pain on hard mode, but playing it through for the first time, I was just in awe of this boss fight. Especially the parts that remind me of Advent Children. And then one of the coolest things ever happens. One of the things I was hoping for this entire game, Zack and Cloud actually get to team up against Sephiroth.
Cloud, you ready for this? Yeah. All right. Follow my lead. Look at you taking charge. I like it. Gotcha. What the hell happened to you? You were a soldier. How could you turn your back on everything we stand for? Easily. Let's do this. Right. Lock you in which one? Who cares who gets hurt? Is that it? You really got it.
And as soon as we've got through this part with Sephiroth, we get separated from Zack yet again as he gets pushed through to another world. And we have to fight Sephiroth all by our lonesome. And at this point, I was a little bit shocked that they actually did this, that they brought in Bizarro / Reborn Sephiroth or whatever it's called into this game. Because I was like, what are they going to do in the third game if they're already bringing this monstrosity into the game? And I can imagine the third one's going to be insane, but you obviously can't bring this thing back. But at this point, I was just gobsmacked with every part of this boss fight. Especially since it turns into Shadow of the Colossus, where you actually climb up Sephiroth. So I was kind of confused here. I was like unsure about what to do. But I feel like they might do this with the weapons in part 3. And I actually can't wait to see what they're like. That's my part I'm most anticipating in Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. Once we have killed off Sephiroth as Cloud, in another dimension we have to actually fight Bahamut and Sephiroth as our other teammates. So we have basically a mix of teammates, so it could be whoever. But we have Barret, Tifa, and Kate Sith in this instance, and it goes pretty well. This is a lot harder in hard mode, like very, very difficult here, if you don't know which team members you're going to have. But this fight overall is great. The only thing that annoys me about these sort of fights when it comes to hard mode is they did it with Remake as well. Bahamut just basically insta-giga flares you if you don't stagger him within like 3 seconds, and that kind of annoys me. I feel like they're probably going to do it with the third game as well, but I don't know if you guys have that same feeling as me. But these boss fights are fun, but when it does that, it's just not fun. And once he's dead, we get one more go at playing as Zack, and we have to fight Sephiroth with Zack solo, which is another fun area, but you don't actually learn how to play Zack effectively here. One more team fight against Sephiroth, and funnily enough, I actually get a tutorial here, because I hadn't actually had this happen where basically everyone in my team was dead, and I didn't realize you could use backline commands, but I actually got the tutorial here for doing that, because everyone's on like 1 HP. So yeah, very, very fun fight here. Not so much fun on hard mode when you don't know what you're doing, but once you master this fight, it's very, very fun. And then we have one more fight as Cloud against Sephiroth, and just wait for that music to kick in.
I saw what you did back there, Cloud. Thank you.
Take me later. This ain't over.
Right. Okay, let's finish this. How can you want this, Sephiroth?
Be gone. Your part is played.
How can you want an eternity of loneliness?
Sever your fate. Shall I sever your fate?
And with that, the fight is over. And very cool little Easter egg here. Cloud actually poses like Zack here. I don't know how many of you guys actually realized that, but first time I saw that, I was like, oh my god, he's doing Zack's pose. But that is the end of the game. We get our last trophy for all the chapters. And now we just need to do a little bit of cleanup just to get these other trophies that we're missing for the platinum. And I will show you guys how I got this platinum 300 times, so don't you worry. And as for the first bit of cleanup, we get the next proto-relic that we need, so we get the Honorary Turk trophy. I then get the Moogle Lover trophy for getting the last Moogle Emporium that I missed out on. Then I get the proto-relic for Cosmo Canyon, which is after playing Gears and Gambit. It's probably not my favourite minigame. Hard mode was a little bit of a pain until I figured out what I was doing. So we get the Gambit Paid Off trophy. Then after many Chocobo races, we get the Hall of Famer trophy, and we actually get a trophy for our troubles as well in the game. And after a very long side quest with the Shinra Middle Manager, we get the trophy for completing all quests in the game. Thankfully I did this before they updated the game and caused some issues with it. This was a while ago, by the way. And this unlocks another thing in the battle arena for the 3D brawler, where we have to fight Sephiroth, which we get another trophy for. And while we're in the Gold Saucer, we might as well get the trophy for getting all the fights in the Musclehead Coliseum done. Then we get the Professional Handler trophy for getting the proto-relic in the Nibel region. And once we've done all that, we actually get to fight Gilgamesh finally, after doing all the battles with the summons beforehand just to purify his Genji armor. This fight is by far one of the best fights in the game. The music is amazing. That's probably why you heard it at the start of the video. And I just love all of Gilgamesh's moves. I'm glad they added this in as an extra to this game because it's just one of the best things in the game.
Here and now, I will have that Buster Sword. No. Then I shall prize it from your cold dead hand.
I would love to leave the whole fight in here because the music's amazing, but this is a trophy video, so we beat Gilgamesh and we get the Swordsman of Legend trophy. which is one of the last ones we need. And then we also get another one from getting all of the materia from Chad. And this next part will kind of be a shock to those of you who have had challenges done by me for Bonds of Friendship. But I seriously struggled with this trophy the very first time I did it. So the trophy is for doing all of Chadley's VR missions, and the last two are for doing Zack and Cloud and Zack and Sephiroth as like a 10 round summon battle essentially. And it was torture the first time I did this. I died so many times, and you guys are going to see some of them here. Yeah, so as you can see, not going very well during these first few attempts. I have no idea how many times it took me to actually get through this for the first time. Sephiroth's one was far easier than Zack's. I thought I actually did Sephiroth after Zack, but apparently since the trophy pops when I actually beat the Zack one, it seems like I did Sephiroth before I actually completed Zack. So yeah, Sephiroth loses there, but I actually beat him later. I lose to Titan at the start here, so I get frustrated and quit. And here's another one where I lose to Titan and I quit. And then there's this one where I lose against Kujata because I don't have elemental materia on and he does Tri-Disaster. So yeah, that's a fun one. Fun losing to all these things, but it's funny how it's night and day now. I can murder these things in like 3 seconds. And here is my first actual successful run as Zack. So this is when I learned how to actually use Zack, and I just used High Braver most of the time. So thankfully, Zack has re-raised because I used Phoenix here. And as you can see, contemplating my life choices again, because he's about to Zantetsuken me, and I was like, what should I do? I don't know what to do. Tried to re-raise Cloud, but Phoenix is too slow. And he Zantetsuken's us both. And as you can see, Zack is very close to his limit here. So thankfully, I get my limit, and I get back up. And since Cloud summoned Phoenix, I actually get a little bit of health back on Zack, I believe. Yep, so Zack is basically back to full health. And Odin does the stagger thing, and I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. I want this trophy. Give me my trophy! It's so therapeutic, actually just kicking the crap out of Odin. And there we go, first successful attempt as Zack, and this is where we actually pop the trophy. There you go, virtually renowned. And that took me 30 minutes. So I have no idea how much that is in real time, because my time now is about 9 minutes or 10 minutes when I do this for other people. But yeah, we finally got that trophy, and then the last ones were basically do all the things on the piano and deliver the thing to Johnny, and then do hard mode, which I did on stream, thankfully. Because I can imagine if I did this on stream, I would be screaming my head off. Sorry about the quality here, as this is taken directly from my stream. This is where we get the piano trophy for getting all of the A ranks that we can on the piano. So that's one more trophy out the way. As you can see, we're on 57 out of 61, so that would make 58. And then Johnny's one would be 59. And then the last ones would be hard mode and getting all the trophies, which would be the platinum. And you'll see my last hard mode fight here. I do have Raise.
Still up for it? Stay your day.
I'll take care of them. We can do this.
No way!
Going in.
Yes! Yeah! Woo! Oh my god. My heart. If I had my heart rate monitor on just now, it'd be like 170. Woo! Let's fucking go!
Why is he laughing?
Because
Chapter 14 on hard of Hardy stock. Let me hear it. There we go. The planet's hope. Earn all Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trophies. 100% done, guys. 0.01. No, 0.1. As you can see, this footage is actually quite old, as it's taken me a while to get around to this because I've been so busy. As the trophy was at 0.1 when I got it, but now it's at 1.4 or 1.5, I believe. And the secret behind me getting this platinum trophy 300 times is the fact it's due to my amazing community around this game. So I have done over 300 challenges for different people on this game. And obviously it's not down to me that the trophy is so high, but I have helped over 300 people achieve this platinum. And that is how. So as you can see, all these platinum trophies that are popping are done on different characters, different clouds, because these are people that have helped, and this is the platinum trophy unlocking for them. Obviously this is me playing it, so you guys can actually see the trophy pop, otherwise I wouldn't have this recording, but this is basically me using their account with the guest login and helping them with whatever challenges they needed done, whether that be the hard mode boss gauntlet, Zack Sephiroth VR challenges, any other VR challenges, even piano minigames, whatever. I just had so much fun helping people do all these sort of things just to help them get the platinum if they were unable to do it. And the community I've built around this game is amazing. Look at all these amazing messages they left. And this is the thing that keeps me doing it. So I've done so many of these challenges and it hasn't got boring yet because it's just nice to be able to help people. They've left so many nice messages, the community is amazing around this game, and it's so nice to see so many more people getting the platinum trophies. So that's it for my platinum journey, guys. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I had a blast making this video. Sorry it took so long to make, but it's my very first one of these, and the next one will probably be a bit of a shorter game considering this takes like 200 hours to platinum. But I had a blast every second playing this game. Even some of the mini games where I wasn't having as much fun as the others. Final Fantasy VII is one of my all-time favorite games, and I just loved every second of it. It's just such an amazing game. I honestly cannot wait for part 3. And if you guys need help in part 3, you know where to find me. So you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye!